Hey all, I wish I could say that things went smoothly from video number 1 into video number 2 here, but it didn't. Ran into a few issues on the original install. One thing I didn't think about was the oil pans were too big and they didn't clear the supports in the hull down here in the transom area. So I had to pull the engines back out, return the boom lift, and I got some GM Performance oil pans that fit just enough. I mean, it was really close. Went back out, rented a boom lift again, tried again, got them in there. This is what we're looking at so far. So there are both engines here. Engine number 1 has a power steering and everything attached. What I did on the risers here is I had to cut the riser down on the end. You can see on this one here. And then to keep things safe on this 45 here, I had to cut it down too because everything was way too close right here. So I cut this 45 down, cut the riser down, but not too much. I have them overlapping inside this tube here. You know, basically so nothing can blow off. You know, if this rips or something, I'm probably fine. But if this blows completely off, then I'm going to really be in trouble. So I really wanted to make sure this was safe. So this is a 3 1/4 coupler to 3 1/2, and it's pretty smooth flowing all the way out of here. So the exhaust / water mix coming out of here should be pretty low resistance right there. Somehow, by some miracle, all of the electronics on the engines work perfect with the gauges and everything in the cockpit over there. Like somehow everything works. Trim works, you know, everything to move the drives up and down, power to everything, you know, everything from oil pressure to fuel gauge, everything works. I can't believe it. I got real lucky. Except this guy right here. This thing drove me nuts. This is a relay for the starter, and it was corroded inside. You can hear a click, but nothing was going to the starter. And man, getting in there. Getting in the side over here was a real bear. I kept thinking there was something wrong with the starter, and it's near impossible getting in there. But I was able to go through the starter, check voltages and everything, and found that it wasn't the starter. It was actually that solenoid. I got that for like, I think $6 off Amazon, so pretty cheap, but that's it. That's the only electrical problem I've had so far, which is pretty crazy. I don't know if you noticed in the last video, but I didn't clean up the wiring here yet. Over here, I cleaned everything up. But I had the breaker with the harness plugging in at the back of the motor. But I couldn't do that here because the steering system got in the way, so I had to move it over here. I do have a cover for this, but until I get things running, I'm not going to put that on yet, because if I put it on, I'm going to have a problem. If I don't put it on, everything's going to work right. I mean, you know how that works. So, anyway, that's where we're at so far. Obviously, engine number 1, I had, you know, the whole closed-loop cooling system, everything already attached. I pressurized it, tested everything, so it's all good to go on this end. But there was no way to get engine number 2 in and shoehorn this thing in here with the cooling system on it. So that's pretty much the only thing missing. And the risers on this end are also missing because this is where I'm going to put the O2s. So what I did is I got this riser extension. Crusader actually sells this, which is crazy. It's twice the size of this. What I did is I cut it in half, and I still need to machine this down further. But I wanted to complete all the O2 bunk stuff first before I finish the machine work. And what we did is we set this up so this is stepped. The hole on this side is smaller than the hole here, and this is stepped so it's smaller here and here. So when you try to put this on, oh wait a minute, yeah, when you try to put it in, the very last part of the step presses in. And I'm going to be using Loctite 620 on this as well to help seal it. And with a nice press fit, I think we should be okay. But the way it's going to look is, you know, this will be on top of the riser, or on top of the manifold here like that. And then this guy here, if I could one-hand it, these things are really heavy. There, hang on. Bear with me. Well, I don't know if you can still see anything, but basically you get the idea. So the O2 will be coming out right here, you know, in this area here. And same with this side, the O2 will be out here. So easy access in case I have issues with the O2. But my hope is all this stuff is going to work. I had to cut this down too. You see the exhaust comes out of center there, and then around the outside is the water. There's the gasket. So anyway, so that's something pretty complex there that I'm glad I found a solution for. I can't believe Crusader is awesome, man. If I ever get another boat in the future, I'm going to find something powered by Crusader, because the Maricruiser stuff is pretty cheesy, but these Crusader LS parts are pretty amazing. I got dual, these are clone 044 pumps in here. I'm going to get a real Bosch 044 and keep it as a spare. But I've got all this set up so it's really easy to pull everything out, and I kept everything truly dual on all this stuff. You know, it's completely independent of each other, each engine. So it has its own electronics. It's everything, you know, from fuel system is all doubled up on all this stuff. So if one of these cheesy pumps fails, I still got the other one, and they're easy to swap if I need to put another pump in there. These drains I have at the bottom there for the manifolds and stuff to drain the water out of it so they don't crack. I'm going to, you know, probably make a bracket for those and have them face out over here where it's easy for me to get to them, so I can open each one and watch each one drain. But right now I got things kind of hooked up, not all that great, to the Terminator X stuff. I have it all coming out. I'm trying to find one spot for them that's easy to get to put them where they can be accessed to easily. All the batteries are hooked up. I have that switch there for a secondary battery, so if I accidentally kill the primary battery, all I have to do is flick that switch, and then I have power to the secondary, so I'm not stuck in an emergency situation with no power. So anyway, that's about it for that. Go ahead and turn everything on here. I was going to go ahead and put fuel in here and see if I can get this to fire up here in a little bit. But I had them turning over enough where I was able to see, you know, what was going on with the fuel system and everything. I mean, the fuel pumps fire up, engines turn over. I saw the oil pressure gauges actually go up in the gauge cluster for the boat itself in the cockpit over there. So that's good. You know, it seems like everything is pretty close to good to go. I mean, the risers and a couple of other small things. Oh, throttle cables. I still need to make that, but I'm trying to keep things clean here. As you can see, cooling system's not hooked up to this yet. I'm going to wait till I've got everything running before I do that second cooling system, because it's a lot easier to work with that stuff with it out of the way. So here, let's go ahead and power this stuff up here. You can probably hear the pump when I power it on, turn on. So that's pump for engine number 2. Here's engine number 1. So that's pretty good. I don't want to run it for too long because there's no fuel in there, but you know, everything seems to be good. The tach signal from the Terminator is not correct. I need to change that up and get that fixed, but you know, it is seeing a pulse of some kind. You know, everything seems to be working, so that's pretty cool. That's about it. I do have the displays hidden right here right now until you know, I double checked everything's reading on this. So of course there's no O2, but everything else is reading. I did the throttle adjustment on it and everything, so that's all good. I got these cable extensions here from Holley for the displays, so I can mount them right over here, so I can watch everything and have like secondary data, and you know, make changes while I'm on the water as well. So guess that's about it. Yeah, I mean, this right here, you know, this right here is what was hitting the LM4 pan that was originally on it. And I spent probably 4 hours in here in 90-degree heat grinding away at the LM4 all-wheel drive pan that was on here. You know, just trying to grind it down, trying to get it to fit. And after about 4 hours and about ready to pass out, I just had to come to terms with myself that I just wasn't going to get them in that day. But yeah, these GM Performance pans, they just barely fit. It's really close, so I'm pretty happy with how that turned out. And then you can get those performance pans pretty cheap. So I guess that's about it for now. Hopefully I'll get it fired up here pretty soon. I'm going to put some fuel in her, get those pumps to make sure those pumps prime, and that's about it. So until next time.